32 students failed the gravity test. The Deathworld girl passed it while braiding her hair. I read the room through the floor. That is not a figure of speech. The Vivari foot sensors run subdermal, calibrated to read mass, tremor frequency, and compensatory lean through any surface we stand on. In 14 years at Facility Vrethisdorn, I had logged 841 cadet signatures on the Certus 9-chamber floor. I knew what a body sounds like before it loses. The floor always told me first. No warning in the readout, no tremor in the floor, no distress for the instruments to find. That was lane 33. That was before I understood what I was reading. What the floor read next, I'm still not sure I have a word for it. The intake manifest listed the 33rd cadet as human, female, 51.7 kilograms, homeworld Deathworld type V. The odds board had her at 290 to 1. I logged her cord at security screening, non-regulation, green and white utility thread, frayed at both ends, and almost flagged it. She watched me hover and said, "It's not a weapon. It's just something for my hands to do when my head needs to be somewhere else." I cleared her through. She walked to her floor mark without looking at the odds board. I did not know what that meant yet. The Certus 9 gravitational compliance matrix runs 94 minutes at 7.1 standard gravities. The rubric was built by the Vivari biomechanists who had never encountered a Deathworld type V specimen. In practice, it was built around the Azuvec. At 6:12 hours, I had 41 pressure signatures on my console. Cadet Uvixon held lane 4. Azuvec, 118 kilograms, triple-density femoral structure. He walked in rolling his weight heel to toe, the way Azuvec do when they are deciding they have already beaten a room. The odds board had him at 2 to 1. The species record was 88 minutes, set by an Azuvec 6 years ago. The rubric's design parameters matched Azuvec anatomy so closely that for 40 years this certification had been a formality. In the gallery above, 3 Velthari observers had their documentation slates recording. They were always recording. The Crethali cluster held lanes 12 through 14, low-slung, spine ridges already flexing as the gravity climbed. One of them tapped a rhythm against their thigh. I knew that tell, the architecture preloading, running its checks. At lane 33, Sira Davin stood with her eyes on the middle distance, fingers loose near the cord at her wrist. No preload, no catalog of the room. She looked, and I logged this in the anomaly file because it had no other home like someone waiting for a meal. The ramp hit 7.1 standard at the 10-minute mark. I read all 41 signatures and began to catalog. The Crethali went first. The spine lock signature arrived in my feet before the visual 14 Hz, irregular, the internal architecture failing in sequence. All 3 down between minutes 13 and 17. Standard, expected. I logged them and looked at the gallery. The Velthari slates were still up. By minute 22, the Velthari membrane flush had started. Pale gold first, then deep amber stress bioluminescence visible through the observation glass. One observer set his stylus against the slate rail, not filing, just watching. In 14 years, I had never seen a Velthari stop documenting during a live run. I opened a sub-entry, anomaly, gallery, category pending. At minute 22, Sira Davin raised her right hand. Her fingers found the cords not without her looking at it. She divided the cord and a section of her hair into 3 parts and began braiding. The floor beneath lane 33 read, 51.7 kilograms, even distribution, no compensatory lean, posture within 3 degrees of vertical. I ran the readout, ran it again, ran it 2 more times. Every instrument I had was built to find the moment a body gives up. She gave me nothing to find. The Velthari observer set his documentation slate flat on the gallery railing. He did not pick it up again. At minute 38, Uvixon went down. Wide planted stance to full limb contact in 0.5 seconds. Clean, mechanical, a machine reaching its operational ceiling. The floor read him exactly as the rubric predicted. Lane 33 read, 51.7 kilograms even, 3 degrees of vertical, still braiding. The Krethali had architecture. The Azuvek had density. She had something the rubric had no field for. I pressed both palms flat against the console. A Dhavari reflex, the body trying to feel through the surface what the sensors cannot explain. I had done it during equipment failures, never because a cadet was braiding their hair. At minute 52, she finished the braid, tied the cord around the end, then sat down, cross-legged, voluntarily, elbows on knees. She did not lower herself carefully. She sat the way you sit when a bench appears. The floor read, pressure shifted from feet to sitting bones, unhurried, even, not collapse, not compensatory. The floor had one category for cadets on the ground. It was called non-voluntary floor contact. I stared at that label. Then I created a new field. I called it orientation, chosen. I still do not know if that is the right word. At minute 61, the last cadet standing, Krethali, lane 19, braced at 45 degrees for 22 minutes, folded. My floor, 31 cadets horizontal, non-voluntary. Lane 33, cross-legged, cord tied into a braid. 33 minutes left on the timer. The gravity ramp cut at minute 94. The chamber returned to one standard in 45 seconds. 30 pressure signatures scattered, post-load relief, joints unlocking, the small tremors of muscles releasing what they had held too long. I know that pattern. It was correct. Expected. Lane 33 did not scatter. She stood. She untied the cord from her braid and looped it back around her right wrist. She looked at the cadets on the floor, not with triumph, not with recognition of anything remarkable, with the expression of someone noting that an expected thing had occurred. She stepped around the Krethali cadet in lane 17 without looking down. She had known he was there, tracking through pressure and proximity, the way I track the floor, through the body's knowledge of what surrounds it. She paused at the threshold and turned back once. "Is there water past this door?" My voice came out 3 registers lower than intended. I told her yes. She stood, she tied the cord, she walked out. I pressed both palms flat against the console. The chamber was perfectly still, 30 cadets breathing. 1 floor mark, 0. 51.7 kilograms gone, and the room still holding the shape of where she was. The Velthari observer who had put his slate down wrote a 14-page record from memory that night. It became the primary institutional document. Her name is in it. I sat at the console for 6 minutes and did not log anything. The formal review board convened 9 days later. I submitted 94 minutes of pressure log data. The anatomical officers took 3 hours and returned with 2 conclusions: sensor malfunction or immediate revision of the Deathworld V classification. The sensors tested within 0.3% of factory specification. The doctrine revision took 9 weeks. I was not shown the new rubric. Through channels that officially do not exist, I heard the Certus 9 threshold footnote now references a 94-minute run at Vrethysdorn. It does not include her name. The cord is in a sealed archive case on sublevel 3, logged under non-regulation textile, Certus 9 endurance run Vrethysdorn. Origin, Deathworld V condition, worn. I think about that word sometimes, worn, as if the relevant information was never what it was made of, but how long it had been used. I still run the pressure log every morning. I am still looking for a comparison signature. I do not think one exists. The console surface is smooth under my palms. The chamber floor is empty. Sublevel 3 holds its case in the dark.